Okay, hello there, everyone. Welcome to the Zoom webinar with J.R. Burgess. We're going to have a great meeting today, and you're going to find out a lot of information on how you're going to be able to totally change your destiny. And I can say that with confidence because of this man sitting over that way, and you're going to be amazed at what he's going to teach you today. So you might get some pen and paper because you're going to need to take some notes for this. It's going to be great. Now, this guy, JR, he has helped hundreds of clinics increase their bottom line and change the lives of many, many doctors based on his system and his teachings. So that's all you need to know about JR. You know, he's a best-selling author and teacher and businessman, and he knows what he's talking about. So let's go right to JR, and we'll start in, and then if you have questions, I believe we're able to look at those questions as we go along. Just put them in there in the chat box, and we'll answer them as we go along. So here we go with JR. Go ahead, JR.
Thank you. I appreciate the honor of coming and sharing with your audience, Dr. Tom. You've always been an inspiration to me, a kind heart, someone who's worked hard his entire career and continuing to lead by example to evolving in what you believe is important for your personal highest being as well as the profession and your patients. So integrity is always really, really important, and you share that loud and clear. So if possible, I'm going to try to share my screen. I may have shared the wrong one here as I start this PowerPoint, but I'm going to give this a run here. If you just give me a second to get started. Let me know if you see the screen come across now.
Yep, there it goes.
Went backwards, so I got to start from the beginning. But thank you for the honor of coming on here. As I move really fast, and it's because I have a lot to share, and I think it's a simple concept, but it's a lifelong learning journey, just like Dr. Tom's been on, like I will continue to be on. So I'm going to give you my best overview in the quickest amount of time, and then invite you all to the end to join my free roadmap challenge so you can really understand how to change healthcare right now. I strongly believe that when we integrate health, when we use preventative lifestyle, nutrition as the foundation, we can make a difference in healthcare. And I'm going to show you the model that we've done. And as Dr. Ashton said, I'm not just a marketer or a sales guy. As I've had the opportunity and blessing to build one of the largest integrated centers with partnering with an amazing visionary named Dr. Baumgartner. And I'll show you a little bit of that background. But along the journey, as we went and started sharing and speaking this model to the world, is we'd see more and more frustrated physicians and practice owners that are looking to treat patients with cash pay services, such as regenerative, functional, and weight loss and wellness. So they can practice medicine that actually helps people while having some freedom and independence to practice independently. And there's 6 main challenges. So as we go through the 6 pillars, my invite to you would be to go ahead and in that chat, put some question, and Dr. Ashton will stop me and say, hey, JR, we have a question to each one of these pillars. But out of all the conferences I've gone to and all the doctors that I've coached and talked to, comes down to their 6 main problems. And some of you may be in a stage that you're not aware of the exact problem. You see that the world's changing. You may have went independently in the last few years or along the way, but as you got out there, you either, if you were trying to do cash services, realized, oh my goodness, I have to market and potentially sell people because their insurance doesn't cover it. So you recognize that becomes a problem, or that you were really, really productive in med school or in working in another group, or even yourself, you have the skills, but you're unaware how important leadership, communication, delegation, and management really was to growing your clinic and bottom line. Otherwise, if you kind of retract it, it's like you feel like you had to do everything yourself. So that's something that is getting in the way. So the main problems are money. And I want to kind of understand it. I understand you went to med school, you amassed a massive amount of debt. Most doctors that I know worked really hard to have a nice lifestyle. That's why they also wanted to be a doctor. So they bought a nice house, They get pregnant after med school because that's the thing to do and have families. And then they stay stuck in the system because they don't have the money to go independently. Or they went independently and they don't have the money to market or build the team around them because they didn't know how to run business right away. And that's what my big goal is to really help doctors overcome some of these challenges. I'm not a doctor expert. I was part of the medical team, became the trainer, the implementer, the administrator, the CFO, the COO. So I have my 15 years of MBA and constant growth in the business side. So if you're just getting into practice, there's no way you can learn what I've spent hundreds of hours of work weeks in, just like I couldn't learn your medicine overnight. So there's a little grace, but recognize money's the problem. But through my 5-day journey, I'm going to give you the means to not have to spend any money to create the practice of the future. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't reinvest the money that you make if you don't have it, or learn of what is an investment versus an expense. Because a lot of doctors are contracting right now. Ooh, I got to lay off all these employees. I got to do less. Versus some of the most brilliant entrepreneurs say, man, there's an audience that's sitting in front of the TV or computer like never before, or their phones. And there's also cheaper ads. Less people are doing this and they're capitalizing on it. So money's not the issue here, especially as we learn how to work through this. It's about being more resourceful. Confidence is the key. Most of the doctors have this important message. You have medicine that can help people. But again, you didn't recognize how important it was to educate. There's people that are less qualified out there giving information, making lots of money, and not even getting the outcomes that you're capable of getting. It's just they've had the confidence to get on camera, communicate, and educate. And I'm going to talk a little bit about marketing, meaning if you don't like to sell, if you're a heart-centered entrepreneur, please know that the more you market, the less you actually have to sell, because you're educating. They get to know, like, and trust you through that. But now here's another problem that all of you are starting to become aware of is I can't put out functional, regenerative, vitamin C, these different alternative or investigational practices without censorship right now. So what do? Well, I'm going to talk about lifestyle, nutrition, exercise, some of the things that you should be telling your patients regardless every day, but not having to repeat it 100 times so you get a better outcome with them that isn't censorship material. The safe side. So that's what we're going to be breaking down a little bit. And then ultimately, I always tell my doctors, if you don't have a clear plan, what are you doing the next 90 days? How are you building your practice of the future right now? If you don't have a clear, here's what I'm waking up to do Monday morning or Sunday morning or any day, then if you're not coaching, that's a challenge, because you should have clear focus on what your goal is, and you should be focused on what is the one thing you do. And for those of you listening saying, well, I don't know what to do. Well, great. I acknowledge you. You're here. You're listening. You're ready to find some example. And all you have to really always understand to keep forward momentum going is who knows the answer? What is the best next question? What am I not seeing? Or who can guide me? Those 4 basically simple things I can do anytime that I'm spinning or all over the place and just being busy versus productive. I have to get clarity and ultimately time. I get it. That's why I made my last transition, trying to be an amazing husband, father, to run 3 7-figure plus businesses. There was a hard cap on my time without continuing to work 80 to 100-hour work weeks, and it darn near killed me. So we got to give you some structure and some freedom that allow you to leverage your time, to not say the same things over and over in your exam room, to have amazing patient journey, that you can have this amazing integrated model, and all you had to film is 10 videos. But it's a library for your patients. All these examples I'll be sharing over time. So I want you to hang out beyond the 60 minutes, because this is just the overview. It's hard to teach, but these are the problems. However, I'm incredibly blessed. I had a pretty rough childhood and upbringing, and thank the Lord that I'm here today. And as a father with 4 kids, I see a lot of people saying healthcare is broken, and they've been singing that song and dance forever. And I always want to tell my children, because I've learned crying or whining doesn't do anything. It's how do I fix this? That I want to be a part of the solution, not part of the problem. And I think integrative and preventative medicine is obviously the next step in healthcare. So I won't bore you with the details and the statistics. It's just, I believe you and I can make the greatest impact for not only ourselves right now, but our family and future generations by helping more people through integrated healthcare. And I know so many of you had a burning desire to have impact when you choose to go to medical school. And I do believe doctors are the key to changing healthcare. So many of you are frustrated, spending more times in your EHR or not doing what it takes to continue to rise. And I hope today I motivate you with some of these 5 pillars to start taking action, because we can't support the rising costs. Implosion is inevitable. We all know chronic disease is preventable, and we must break the pattern. It simply is, we have to do something a little bit differently. And the answer is medical fitness. That's exercise that's medically supervised, just like the biggest show, and the trainers or health coaches can do all that work. This is weight optimization, which again, you can call functional medicine and get censored, or we can call it weight optimization and realize obesity is one of the main causes of inflammation and chronic disease, and just learn how to be a little bit smarter with our marketing. Or we can do healthy nutrition services. And this doesn't mean you're a dietitian. This just means that you share with them how you eat, and you eat healthy, and you're building the know, like, and trust. And you tell them how important this is to them. This is, again, hormone optimization, but you're talking about food and nutrition and exercise to do so. And then ultimately, when they know, like, and trust you and are looking for a solution, then you start talking the plane. They don't want to buy hormones or bioidentical or PRP or regenerative medicine or pulse magnetic. They don't want that. They just want the outcome, which is ultimately weight loss or feeling good or looking good. Paid, late, and live forever, as one of Dr. Ashton and I's mentors always say, as he's coaching marketing. That's the root of what all people want. Genetic testing, so many of these different things, sleeping, hygiene ties to so many of your practices, stress and adrenal control, regenerative procedures, supplements, nutraceuticals, all an easy way to do that doesn't get you censored, but this is the answer to the future of healthcare. So what we've recognized, as Dr. Ashton nicely said, is we helped a lot of doctors around the world, but we started with medical fitness license programs. We got about to 60 locations, and we recognized the doctors weren't having the same success as us because they didn't have the same business skills, entrepreneurial communication. They haven't did all the work. They didn't go through the same masterminds. They didn't know marketing and sales. They weren't putting themselves out there. They just wanted the result. And it's no different. You have to contextually look at yourself the same way. If your patient comes into your exam room and wants you to do functional, regenerative, or a vein procedure, and they do nothing on their own, are you supposed to be a magic maker? Yes, you can help them. But if they want the perfect legs, the perfect health or body, it's about them too. So no different from you is, I can't sell you medical fitness or regen or coaching without you still doing the work to get better at whatever that art or practice is. You didn't go to med school and learn out of the textbook and I'll be a great surgeon or a practitioner. It was with practice and going through what you were taught. So it's no difference here. So I'm going to show you what we realized after doing the medical fitness programs that we had to help people is the 5 pillars of practice success. And this is what we're going to break down. And I have to go really fast. So I apologize for those of you that can't keep up. This is going to be recorded. And there is a lot of nuggets that go through, but at this speed, it's a little bit challenging for me, because that's one of my challenges. But the 5 pillars is we're going to break down each one. But right now, I always look at how can we speak common language? Just like politics, it's very divisive. One thing that's current in healthcare is almost every office visit comes with taking vital signs. So if we wanted to change and implement medical fitness across the world, we'd have an HPI or a vital sign. If they're asked 2 questions, on average, how many days per week do you exercise? If they say no, using AI, some of the tech, some of the amazing innovators that I've been working with, here can come their customized exercise prescription. And again, even if it's not that sophisticated, it's just like, now here's the conversation. Now pair them up with a health coach or a trainer that's either a referral partner or an employee, or one of the numerous ways that I will be teaching this week on how to do on a next to no budget. That second question, maybe they're exercising 30 minutes. How do we increase that? So this is something that could be put in every EHR to start beginning the conversations, instead of just the doctor saying, go lose weight. And then they go to do all the wrong crazy diets, fads, and all the Google information that has no customization, no personalization, no accountability, no coaching for people that are high risk. Great. If you already know how to exercise and are healthy, keep doing it, keep moving. But half the world, if not greater, is sedentary. We need better and more sophisticated answers than go exercise and lose weight. So,
Hey, JR,
yes, sir.
I'm going to introduce another little concept, because I know what goes through doctors' minds when they hear some of this stuff here, because they're saying, well, you know, I'm an endocrinologist, or I'm a medical internist, or I'm a surgeon. Like, for example, I'm a surgeon. So I have a different viewpoint on that. And I'm very into what you teach, because in my surgical career, which started a long time ago, we used to make $2,500 when we did a gallbladder operation. And when I decided to go on my own and do what you teach, that rate was down to $450 for a gallbladder surgery, which included the pre-op, the post-op, and everything else. The procedure, $450, which meant I had to increase my workload by 5 just to keep up with my expenses going up and up and up. So keep in the back of your mind that we're talking about running a business that does not involve insurance or Medicare. It's cash, and it's easy to do because you already have the confidence in your patient population, the confidence they have in you based on your great work before, that they're going to trust you. And it's not like, you know, I've tried this on my patients and they love me for it.
Of course.
You know, I'm doing surgical procedures on patients, and now I'm oriented towards seeing that they're not happy with other things that are going on in their lives, mainly overweight, inflammation, arthritis, all the inflammatory conditions. So keep in mind that this is going to require a change in your thought processes. You know, we know you're a great board certified whatever, but the question you have to ask is, are you free? Are you free to do what you want to do? Do you have like a lot of cash coming in that, you know, you deserve, because we know you're underpaid. You know, you just don't earn what you're worth. So anyway, back to JR. I just wanted to put that in there.
Yeah, and it's a great point. And, you know, it's hard in this concept for anybody to fully grasp it. That's why we're going to invite you to spend more time. It comes down to is this doesn't have to be you, but you are their authority and trust if you guide them. And again, you don't have to be a nutrition exercise expert. If you hang out for 5 days, you'll recognize that even if you are a surgeon or internal medicine doctor, your outcomes are directly tied to how healthy your patients are. So if we are looking this beyond, and again, the selfish and easy thing to do is say is, if you're making great money, great, you know, keep doing that. There's always going to be a need for family practice, internal medicine, surgery, for those. But if we are truly going to make our healthcare, our nation more healthy, to make healthcare more affordable, it is bundled payments. So even if you're in the insurance world, I could teach you group visits, how to make this a component of your practice. If you are, you know, completely cash, there's a model here. So there's models for everybody, no matter what your practice is. The one undeniable truth is the healthier your patients, the better outcomes. And if you want to impact the most lives versus just make the most money, and I have no judgment. Some people deserve to make money doing a very specialized expertise, and that's great. But if you're frustrated, then I just implore you to keep listening on what we can do. And why this all began for me, and I know, is I was a D1 rugby player. I played college baseball. I had 5 knee surgeries before I was 30 years old, and I was a trainer while going through grad school, and I had a patient who was diabetic and said, I went and saw this Baumgartner fella, and he did prolotherapy and PRP, platelet-rich plasma, where you take your own blood. I already had surgery. I did cortisone shots nearly once a month to continue to play. I would play on the weekend, limp all week long. So I went and saw him, and it was his last day at what they called the hospital center. And as soon as the hospital center said they were shut down, he said, I'm going to go open my own practice, JR. Why don't you come see me over there? He said,
JR,
yeah,
something is interfering with your mic.
It's a participant who's in and not muted.
Oh, okay. Sal, mute the participants.
So,
there you go.
So thank you. It was distracting me as well. I appreciate that. So, yes, he said, JR, because you exercise and eat healthy, I know you're going to get a good outcome. However, I want to look at your labs, your testosterone, your thyroid, your vitamin D, and see if your cell health are in optimal healing state. So we tweaked a few things, such as vitamin D, magnesium, and 3 months later, I was back to playing rugby at full strength. That my mind was blown. And he said, JR, I'm family practice sports medicine. If a patient comes in, if they have high blood pressure, I know I'm just giving them medication and covering it up. If they come in, if they have my sports medicine fellowship, if they have degenerative disc disease and I give them an epidural or a steroid injection, I know I'm just covering it up. Will you join me and be a concierge to my patients? And that's where it all began. I had learned, he authored a book called Prolotherapy and taught doctors how to do it. And we began in a 1,000-square-foot office. And what we quickly realized is those patients weren't coming to us in the droves. They didn't want preventative health. They just wanted their joint pain or their medication to go away. We didn't have our ideal patients yet. Even though he was helping some of them and making progress, we didn't have the same patient that we have right now. So essentially, we started advertising weight loss. So again, censorship, you're going to be able to do this just fine. Medically supervised weight loss. We had a lady named Susan that came in, and she was on 17 different medications. She had 7 joint replacements. She was obese, depressed, contemplating suicide because her pain management doctor called her a drug chaser. The orthopedic surgeon said there's no more joints that he could replace, and she had no outlets. I said, Susan, I don't know that I'm equipped to help you, but let's get you to Susan to do some functional medicine. Dr. Baumgartner evaluated with her. I passed her to our nutrition specialist and personal trainer, Christine, that did corrective exercise and nutrition. 3 months later, from every other medical system writing her off, she was down 50 pounds, off all but 2 of her medications, had her zest and vitality back, and has since referred over 100 patients to us. This was regenerative health care, not managed care, not cover-up care, even though those are needed. This was regenerative health care. Just like my story, we learned that we could get predictable and consistent outcomes when we started people with restoring their life. Meaning, if we are going to change healthcare, if you are going to change your business, if you are not self-accountable, meaning your business is not successful because of all there, it's because you haven't learned what's necessary yet and been able to incorporate what the successful business people have done. No different than me if I'm unhealthy and I'm not moving and I'm not sleeping and I'm smoking cigarettes and I'm drinking alcohol. The only one's going to change me is me. But people influence, people inspire, people support. So we're all part of the mix, but it's radical acceptance we got to get you to, our patients to. So you can't have it both ways. You can't say that about your patients and not look in the mirror at the same way. The mirror is always 2 ways when we complain. So that's what we need to look at. Restore your life. Rejuvenate the health with the functional medicine, the IV, nutraceutical supplements. Then we could rebuild the body with surgery, stem cells, regen med, physical therapy, bracing. So for those of you listening that maybe are the surgeons or internists, this isn't just about functional and regenerative. I believe in doing this in the surgical practices, in the family practice environments, after cardiac rehab, you name it. Instead of siloed care, integrated care that actually communicates to each other. And I'm not going to be able to show that very well, but we'll be able to show later. So we continue to grow. We went from 1,000 square feet to 6,000 to build what is still, in my opinion, the world's greatest integrated center. 28,000 square foot mecca that integrates all 3 different pillars, the medical and preventative fitness, the sports and orthopedic, and the functional side, in a training center that was designed to be a flagship model of the way healthcare centers could be delivered worldwide. Now, I get that they're overhead, and not all of you are going to be able to do a 28,000 square foot center, and I'm going to be able to show you how to do this from your living room, from your basement, whether it's virtual. It's just they need that doctor's word saying your health is important. That's what the world needs right now. They're doctors telling them to get health. Look at all the media and mass stream out there is telling people to stay sheltered. They're not telling them to exercise and how to and eat. That's our job. So let's do it. So we can get world-leading outcomes like many of our patients have had. We were seeing heart disease vanish, diabetes, SIA, smoking, lifestyle changes, impacted, surgeries going back to doing the things that they love, people getting off chronic pain medications and overcoming the opioid crisis that we know is relevant and out there right now. And the minute we moved into our insurance model, the 28,000 square foot facility, we lost our insurance contracts. They said, you have to stop doing stem cells or PRP. I said, Doc, I don't know how we're going to survive. He said, JR, I'd rather go bankrupt than to go back to practicing medicine that I know in many cases hurts my patients and is only should be used as their last option, versus it's the first option for 90% of the doctors out there that are well-intended, but not preaching and giving people what they should be doing if it were their family, their loved ones, or their mother, their brother, their sister, or themselves. So that's what we did. We went into our community. We doubled down on masterminds and marketing, not contraction. When I was like, oh my goodness, how are we going to survive? Just like this crisis right now, not contraction. It's all in. Let's get into our community. Let's get medical referrals. And a year later, we ended up winning the Minnesota Innovation Award. And I know the audio isn't going to come through here, but I just want you to see a snapshot of this building. But this is basically Dr. Baumgartner saying he went for a different model of care. It wasn't about medications or opioids, even though he would do that and prescribe it short term, but it was about meeting them where they're at and giving them a roadmap and journey, helping them visualize, just like I asked you to visualize what it would be like to restore and regenerate health while improving your bottom line. That's what we have to ask our patients. Tell me what you're not able to do anymore. What do you view for yourself in the future? What is this pain or this health costing you? And let's start to see it again. So somebody's unmuted again.
Yeah.
And echoing a little bit, please. So the Medical Fitness Impact Plan is where we started. We said, Doc, we started having great success and started sharing it. And we got to about 60 locations, as I mentioned. And this was from hospitals to nutrition centers, surgery centers, physical therapy, which is the perfect place, meaning from 5 to 8 a.m. there's no traffic, and 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. there's no traffic. And that's the perfect time for medical fitness. Why just release them versus continue to keep them on their circle and build health? So we got to get, some things just reframed a little bit differently. Standalone gyms are now integrating fitness or medical professionals, corporate wellness, self-insured companies. That's where healthcare savings are. There's smart opportunities in healthcare and corporate wellness based on these type of models. And with this continued success, we started getting recognition around the world and putting our model into Taiwan, do a 100 license deal in China. And all this started when I went to a fitness conference and I sat down to the one next doctor, the only one there. It says, JR, I'm leaving my practice to go be a personal trainer. And I said, hold the fort. What? I am leaving my practice to go be a personal trainer. And I said, Doc, do you know the power and influence you have to change lives? Why would you ever want to do that? If you want to preach it there, great, make your 10 videos, but have people and systems that follow that. Be the leader, the influencer of it. So completely left his pain management practice, started his own, and no business venture when you're first starting. 3 years later, he stood on our stage at the Regenerative Business Summit and was our our regenerative business practice of the year. From no business or marketing know-how, but he got coaching. He was open. He kept practicing, implement, and changing. And that's where our mission, even I think you could see Dr. Ashton in here somewhere. Maybe he was there the year before at our event, is where we teach doctors the 5 pillars of practice success. And then we run masterminds where we go deeper and have time to work through each doctor's challenges. This one where we actually taught regen, functional, and the marketing and the sales skills. So we believe this is the perfect storm to change healthcare. It's not going away. The pressure to do more and see more will not change. Consumers are seeking better care, and for the first time, maybe waking up to preventative care. So we are at the shift of you must now provide a virtual experience. That brick and mortar model, saving your time, marketing, it's now. Everybody lives on there. So you're either going to be doing what you're doing, continue to be, Blockbuster and go out of business and movie stores that didn't adapt, or it's to get on the front wave of this and be in this billion-dollar industry that is lifestyle, weight loss, and fitness, just because it's the smarter way to do it. And ultimately, docs, you don't have to do it, but you have the authority to lead the change that's necessary. You just need your face and your beliefs on video once a week, once a month. That's it. And for those of you, I want to give you my resources in the books to learn and lead more, but more importantly, come into this roadmap course that I'm doing because it's necessary. It's my whole thing was business in a box, replicate it and scale it. Now it's all digital. So basically I'm going to be giving, my best knowledge for 5 days for free because this is what the healthcare needs right now. So even if you register, Think Saboteur, put the link in the box. You can come on for 5 days. It's completely free. This is actually the product that I am filming and will be sold for a significant difference afterwards. But as I'm filming the new relevant model, I'm giving it to everybody for free. So you get to be a part of that as being a guest to Dr. Ashton's calling. So Doc, is it okay now if I go into the 5 pillars? I'm going to kind of go quick into there. Any questions or phrase reframes as I go through that?
Okay, I think we should go ahead so we can cover all 5 pillars, but
Okay.
they're all very important, and
Yep.
you know, it will be your job later on when we go back to the 5. After we cover the 5 pillars, we're going to have a future event that they can sign up for, and that's totally free also. So you're going to learn so much from JR that you could implement stuff right away. Yeah.
Thank you. So yes, I'm going to kind of fly fast. So the first step, the personal pillar is the most important. It's to that radical ownership, accountability, and belief that you are ultimately your outcome and destination. I'm not saying don't believe in faith, but your ability to grow to your next level is your having level is based on your self-worth. Your self-worth can't exceed your having level. Your growth, you're going to plateau unless you continue to grow or grow the others around you. So the personal pillar is truly just about your vision and you growing to make it happen, saying what you meaning what you say. And I just want to give you a little context for me as I grew up somebody that was happy and extroverted, got teased horribly by a teacher in the 5th grade. She stood me up on the desk, clicked my ears. I became incredibly depressed. So my parents gave me plastic surgery, but it didn't fix my self-consciousness or what I believed I was ugly at the time. So sports were the only thing that I could do. I hated authority, mean people, and teachers after that. So I got kicked out of everything, but I spent my whole life playing sports and learning every strategy until the 7th grade, where I got drunk and high for the first time and fell in love with drugs and alcohol because I became the shy, introverted person to the life of the party again. And sports, I was good enough to just, because I got strategic, I was never the most talented, I just outworked everybody else, became very, very good. And essentially, it was the only reason I graduated. But I had no plan to go into college, so I went off and I started building water towers, and I learned really quickly what hard work was. And I made ridiculous money for an 18-year-old, but had to turn to an adult fast. And for me, I always did crazy things, from jumping off water towers to some of the deadliest cliffs in the world. I didn't care if I lived or died. I was just crazy and nuts growing up. Never had high school English, spelling, grammar, math. Pre-algebra in 8th grade was the furthest I ever went. So I was missing playing sports and partying, to be honest. So I was like, time to go back to college. And I had to go to Hibbing Community College. I took a year of prerequisites before I even got a college credit. And then in my 2nd year, I got academic All-American. I was like, wow, when people aren't telling me to do, and this is actually for myself, I guess I can do this. So I went, I finished it. I went back to water towers after being a financial advisor after 9/11 had happened, and went to grad school because I wanted to work with professional sports, and found a love for personal training and helping people. And that's when The Biggest Loser came out. And I said, that's it. As soon as that doctor says, do you know you're at risk of stroke, heart attack, or disease? And the patient started crying. Then they were like hooked. They were finally aware and ready to make the changes. Then they had the powerhouses like Bob and Jillian, who were master motivators, inspirers, and people that could actually spend time with them. The docs don't have time. They got to see patients to spend hours and hours with patients. So you heard the stories. We started. I continued to have my crazy wild party times. I would work hard, but party on the weekend. My wife was ready to leave me because I was nuts. And fortunately, we got pregnant. I got injured, and I found my faith. But then shortly after, I was still drinking here and there. I blacked out in a mastermind, and Craig Ballantyne and my mentor, Bedro, said, JR, you're one of the hardest working people I know, and you say you're going to change healthcare, but read this book. And I read the book on the plane ride home, and it says, a pro says what they mean and means what they say. A pro can hold their alcohol. A pro does whatever it takes. A pro gets coaching. A pro improves all areas. So are you ready to give up your amateur ways and go pro? And after that plane ride home, I vowed to never have a drink of alcohol again. Even though I never felt I was an alcoholic, I felt I was a problem drinker and could have absolutely killed myself. It's just, it stands for the principle of anything that's in my way will have to get out of the way if I want the life that I want. And that's the difference between the championship and the victim mindset. So the past versus the future is, you can own this industry by making huge impact by going forward, or you can blame the insurance or that your market isn't cash pay. We're the top volume stem cell clinic in the entire country in the medium income town of St. Cloud, Minnesota of $44,000. Not because our market couldn't afford it. There's a lot of Medicare, Medicaid, because we learned how to market, connect, and get results. People will pay for results. So the business pillar, any questions on personal pillar before I get into the business pillar? And I'll teach more throughout the 5 days on what it means to you. Day 1 of the course is going to be really about how you put your personal vision together, not me just telling you that you got to improve and overcome that. So any questions to that one, Doc?
You know, the personal pillar part of it is so personal. I mean, everyone has their own story. They have their own situation. They know where they are. You know, some of this you may instantly relate to, and some of it you may want to put on the back burner, but you need to see the whole picture before you decide, oh, this isn't for me or whatever. Right. Because, you know, as a general surgeon, at first I thought this wasn't for me. You know, I'm a surgeon, for heaven's sakes, and I'm going to talk to someone about losing weight. But what I found out was, as soon as you show some empathy for that patient based on their being miserable, even though they're on 12 different medications, you know, as soon as you start thinking, you know, that's a lot of medications, man. Maybe why do you take this one for? They don't know what they're taking them for. They just take all the medications and then they feel like crap. And once I started to address that situation, I saw my relationship with my patients just blossom. And that's different from being a surgeon, where you just go in, you say, yeah, you need your gallbladder out. I'll see you in the operating room, and bang, that's it. But I feel so much more fulfilled. I do my surgery, but I also take good care of my patients because they're suffering for other reasons, not just because they need surgery. So it's a personal journey, and I think you should take this all in and then decide if there's something here for you.
Correct, Doc. So let me reframe the personal pillar a little bit. This is about your life. So you're probably watching this because you're not happy somewhere. So the personal pillar isn't just about the business pillar. So meaning, just like your patient's coming to you, you tell them they have to improve their personal life, right? Their habits, their eating, but they understand the empathy. This is the same message to each and every one of you. I work with a lot of doctors, and guess what? I get those private calls and I'm like a vault. They're on the verge of suicide. They are having fights with their partners. They are having affairs. They are drinking and sedating quietly at home too. So meaning, this is about increasing your communication, your leadership, your marriage, your parenting. Meaning, if you are not growing personally and reflecting inward, you're going to stay at the same level. So your next growth is about you growing in your ability to influence your loved ones, your care ones, to invest in your health. Meaning, are you going to live to 100 if you are very unhealthy? Or are you going to change other people's lives if you don't have the energy you can't output or be there for your children? This is about, if you want the next level of success, it's getting better with your time, your health, your relationships, your communication. That's all the personal pillars. So I've never met a human being, whether you're a surgeon, you're the president, that doesn't have room to grow. And you may not need to listen to me for that. But at the end of the day, that is your next level of success. And I strongly believe it. The business pillar is more about having a business that is repeatable and scalable. It's not about you. It's predictable. It's measurable. It's scalable. Most doctors are the star pitchers of their show. If you get hurt or you go on the DL, your business goes out of business. Or if you've worked your whole life and you want to sell it, did it have infrastructure? Was it built around you, or was it built around the team? So this is about building and investing instead of into the stock market, about investing into your IP, your business, your growth. And just as Doc's going to do at his summit, wealth and financial management is so important to the big picture. Each one of these pillars are critical to your long-term success. So the business pillar is really about all the things that matter. It's your HR process, building a championship team, having metrics. It's about a marketing process, doing one video and having teams send it everywhere because there's the process. It's about, if you get all these leads and cash patients coming to your door, you actually convert 50%. You can tweak your formula and be coached on how to get better instead of just, well, I don't know what's wrong. It's men lie, women lie, numbers don't lie. They may not be accurate, but we need to figure out what needs to be improved. And this is all about your financial processes, retaining your patients, operational flow charts. We call them alien manuals. If your star front desk or your administrator gets abducted by an alien, most of you are in deep trouble, versus the clinics that have worked in these areas and followed our system have systems, they have checklists, they have SOPs, and somebody could jump back in it. So this is your time management calendar. Not only for you, every one of your employees are going to say, I'm so busy. And I say, show me your time management calendar. Show me your job task. Let me help you get more efficient. Otherwise, you can just keep adding staff and reduce your bottom line and your profitability, or you can make sure they're completely maximized. And there's systems to do that. And on day 3 of my roadmap, I'm going to be really breaking down on how to delegate. So you're just doing your highest lever skills. Maybe that's the surgery. Maybe that's the new patient evaluations and your marketing message. Everything the rest should not be doing. If you are doing your QuickBooks, all that other stuff, it's just, there's another level. So no judgment here. That is seeing how you're performing. Even the Dr. Baumgartner was the owner. I needed to see his referral percentages, his average visit per day. I could be very, very, strategic on what I spend to market because I knew our numbers like the back of our hand. And this took time. Just like if you're just beginning entrepreneur, we didn't have this overnight. This took us 5, 6, 7 years to get to this point of having these metrics, versus when you join some of these roadmaps or even my digital program, you're instantly going to get the templates and numbers and metrics for everything that we've created for an integrated practice. And then, are you communicating? Are you running meetings? Are your team accountable? You have set 5 or 6 goals each quarter that you know you're getting done and they've been assigned to one person. If not, everybody's kind of doing their own thing and there's very low communication in most practices that I work in. You guys get by, but you're not constantly growing and thriving each quarter. And those practices and businesses that are going to succeed right now are going to be growing and not going back the other way. That's what's going to be necessary to come out the other side. So this is all about scorecards, KPIs. So about to go into the marketing sales pillar. Anything to add on the business pillar, Dr. Ashton?
Well, I was just going to say, when you look at that, it's like overwhelming. Oh my God, I want to see patients. I don't want to deal with all this. But the great thing about what JR does is he has this all worked out, and it's like a system that you can, hook into without, you're not trying to create all this. You're just following the steps.
Correct.
The steps that JR has worked out in hundreds of other clinics. So
hundreds of hours, thousands of mistakes.
It's really easy.
I'm giving away basically what I know no other practice has time, because they didn't have a JR in their practice.
Exactly.
Like Dr. Baumgartner.
Yeah.
So this is my greatest gift to the world, is basically taking what I'm doing. And then after even this 5-week course, I'll give you every blueprint for free, but then I'm going to hold a bunch of doctors' hands all the way through it and give them my 6-month digital access to everything for $1,000. It's an absolute steal. It absolutely cost us, hands down, well over $1.5 million to create.
Now, this next pillar is going to scare doctors to death.
Yep.
Doctors do not do marketing. Doctors do not do sales. And believe me, with the system, you don't have to be the one that, quote, sells something. What you're doing is you're showing empathy, and you're giving a patient what they want and what they need based on doing this. You're not a, quote, salesman, and you're not a marketer. It's part of the system.
You're 100% right, Doc. Yeah. And that's why if you get good outcomes, if you are good at what you do, if you're frustrated that your potential patients go get care that is people with less abilities or skills than you, it's because you're not communicating your message. So just as you said, sales, if you don't like it, and I know a lot of doctors that don't, I don't like sales. But however, I love educating, I love teaching, I love helping, I love serving. And I can't do that one-on-one anymore at my point. So I educate. That's all I'm asking the doctors to do. Go talk about your story. Go talk about nutrition. Go talk how you're trying to sleep. Go talk how you're trying to grow. That's all you have to do. The more you market, the less you ever have to sell, because people already decide when they have a doctor that does listen, is empathetic, that is out there, that is inspiring. That's very few and far between. So that's why doctors who are online and get comfortable with it and get past that comfort zone really do well. And just like we all know, is it's very hard to be concise. This is my 12 years of work, this influential doctor. Chapter 3 gives you these 7 steps. It's what I strongly believe is the most concise formula to be a thought leader in cash care or integrated care, even if you have insurance. And so I will be breaking that down the second day of the roadmap. So I won't go into it too deep here, but the factor is people have to discover you. So right now, people are on front of their computers, they're looking into health, and people have to learn about you either online through blogging. So if you're not comfortable with video, then you have to do good articles that are entertaining, not science novels. Your consumers like to be entertained. So I think they like reality TV and Facebook Lives, one-on-one networking or referrals, virtual speaking, teleseminars, webinars just like this, podcasts, videos, or live speaking on people's stages in groups, at network, in your community. That's the only way people are going to learn about you. So again, if you get good outcomes and you don't market, you're going to be the best kept secret. And if you don't like sales, then just more market. And you don't have to sell if you set up things the right way. So then you got to get them initial investment, which is free, just like this webinar. I have to get people to discover me, give a massive value. I teach this and I'm going to give it all my course and repurpose it and leverage it so many ways. But I understand a free gift, purchasing a low-end product, a low barrier offer, a detox in your program, something to get people through your door to where you can transfer them to your surgery, your veins, your transformational health programs. And we call it progression to get there. And that's all marketing and sales is. The more they invest, the more they commit to your outcome things, the better outcome they'll get, the upward spiral. So, you know, there's 4 ways, which are social and digital media, which is critical right now, email marketing, grassroots efforts, and referrals. Each one of these, they need an advanced system in support and help. But docs, don't get overwhelmed. All you need to do is do a 3 to 5 minute video 1 day a week and spend a couple grand, and this can be completely outsourced and be done the right way when you're using somebody that knows what they're doing. And I like to be that type of resource. I don't do anymore. I had my fun doing that, but I'll connect you to the best of the best people for any of the needs that people have, are people that I trust to get things done. So these are critical, and we'll be breaking down those strategies on day 4. But my mentality is I never sell anything. Give, and then they ultimately ask, well, what do I do next? I've never sold somebody on my first visit without giving value or pointing. I do always offer. If you're ready to go now, you believe that I do believe I am the best solution out there. So if you're ready to go now, certainly do. But if you need more time to get to know, like, and trust me, I completely understand as well. And I probably hurt myself in sales that regard. It just feels good to me. I've never hard sold anybody in my life. So I know your patients are in your office for a reason. Or if they're listening to your video, it's because they don't have the outcome or the life that they want. They're sick and tired of being sick and tired. George coming in here. I will let him in quick. They're sick and tired of being sick and tired and in pain. They're frustrated. They're looking for answers no one figured out. They're looking for a professional who can provide hope. They're looking for somebody who's compassionate, has a good reputation, and they're looking for alternatives. So please ultimately know if they've came to you for help, it's a disservice to allow them to not work with you to transform their health. I used to not sell and go think about it, and that's just fine. Now I know I'm killing these people if they walk outside of our facility because they're going to just go and get crap advice and not get the programs that they need. That's how I have to view it. And I have different ways and rhymes and reasons to show you how. But here's what I'm most passionate about is medical fitness, because this is how we're going to change healthcare. And we've created systems. As I said, they didn't come to us, but when they came to our medical, or from Joel, Dr. Baumgartner to me, they just wanted their injection or their pain to go away. But when we started marketing our ideal, go ahead.
I got on Zoom and I'm hearing a whole lecture, a live lecture. I
Yes.
worked on Zoom, but I had to go to phone, like you said.
Don't know how to help you if you're in Zoom. You should be seeing the slideshow. Okay. So if they come into medical fitness,
So,
we do 2 different things.
no
We do,
message on here.
huh? So 2 different things. When they come in, we do an integrative movement assessment. So if they squat and had dysfunction or pain, we'd get them directly to physical therapy. If they squat and have pain, directly into orthopedics. If they came in for a medical fitness weight loss evaluation, if they had high blood pressure or cholesterol, we got them directly to functional medicine. So we started filling up our clinic because of medical fitness. This became our #1 marketing differentiator. And let's just say they came for knee pain or functional medicine. We'd say, thank you so much for coming here. I'm sorry about your challenges of dealing with your arthritis. To only be taught drugs or surgery are your only answer. We strongly believe we could help you, but that starts with you logging onto our university that has meal plans, cookbooks, templates, and physician education to give you all that you need to know. So docs, those of you that are listening at home right now, all you need is those 10 videos, or to hire like a trainer or somebody like me to do the videos under your brand, and then you're set. And you teach them how to do that without ever having to do that. The second thing, because we had it brick and mortar in our house, was saying, hey, if you'd like if you're looking for a little bit more accountability, support, or results, we give all of our patients a free medical fitness test drive. Just like we talked about, always subscribing to the give, they will ultimately ask. And what medical fitness did in our practice is look at in 2016 what it did for us. Fitness alone brought in $1.4 million in revenue. But now when they came to me first, and I referred them over to the clinic for functional medicine or for pain, I had $1.6 million in revenue. But here's the thing. We treated a lot of moms, and they came in for the weight loss, but then they say, my husband has back pain, and he's been dealing with this forever. So I would be their influencer, and they'd get their husband to come in, and if they went directly to the clinic, that didn't show as medical fitness referral or fitness revenue, but we know that that was happening on the regular. So we believe medical fitness was responsible in 2016 for over 60% of our overall revenue. So that's a big deal. So we believe medical fitness, for those of you looking at how to do this, is the real health for patients by reversing or better managing chronic disease and improving outcomes in all clinical settings. We made an undeniable difference in our community, and as a result, became the go-to, even over the hospitals and the surgical centers, because they knew we were doing healthcare right and could speak to that message, versus the other side of healthcare is just managing and not going with the safest and most conservative option first. So we can lead the mission to change healthcare crisis. Right now, this world needs it more than anything. Our team was on fire. The hospital could pay more than we could. However, people stayed because they cared. They were a part of something. We made everybody feel special, and that's part of leadership, is everybody's critical to a championship team. You could add this to any size office, online, on low overhead, or having referral partners that mean nothing. So that's the medical fitness, and I know we're coming short on time here.
Okay.
So we'll save some questions.
Let me just make a quick thing here. Don't think you have to have a gym in your office.
Nope.
You outsource the stuff you want to outsource, and you do the stuff you want to do in your office. And most of it is being an influencer, as JR said, and getting people to start thinking about how they can improve themselves instead of just taking a high blood pressure medication and covering up that symptom and not treating the disease. All disease entities can be, 90% of the disease entities that they come into any doctor's office is preventable and reversible. And as a doctor, you have the right as well as the obligation to teach this to your patients. Otherwise, you're sending them out there to remain miserable. So don't think that you have to have all this equipment in your office and 28,000 square feet. We work with the people in our community, nutritionists, fitness experts, and so forth, and you outsource a lot of this. So that's what I wanted to say there. So integration pillar, that's going to be a good one. I like this.
It's everything. This is about the final step in tying it all together. Hospitals have had wellness centers for decades, but they lose money. And that's why they're not integrated. They don't refer. They're not part of the patient journey. So if you look at that top bullet, meaning you're not seeing the fitness people as part of the care. The doctor's not looking at their fitness or workout plan, or it's not pulled up in the EHR, or it's not tracked. They're just operating in silos. And they don't know how to get people on transformational packages. They sell memberships. And just like our big facility, those, unless you know how to fill them, are a loss. This is better and can be delivered virtually and from home now, which is the wave of the future anyways. So integration is truly about making income while improving patient outcomes without your one-on-one time in the room. So this is membership models. This is getting patients the comprehensive vision, allowing them to self-select. So this is basically on motivational interviewing and getting them. If you look at question 5, it says, and this is somebody else's unique branded protocol, and I'll be talking about this. I'm the COO at this clinic. they believe instead of pain management is a dirty word. Nobody wants their pain management. So we've created a pain resolution plan, which her acronym is PLAN, which is procedures and prescriptions, lifestyle learning, activity budgeting, age defense, nutrition, and next steps. But if you look at question number 5, are you looking for non-surgical and drug-free options to better manage or resolve your pain? So if this pain management practice comes and they circle yes right there, and she's the doctor and says, okay, here's your prescriptions again, and here's your epidural, and or hey, we're going to go to surgery, we completely ignored the patient. This patient's looking for drugs and surgery. So this is perfect candidate when they circle yes to lifestyle, functional, supplements, acupuncture, whatever you do, and then ultimately PRP and regenerative medicine in this clinic that we work with. So it's all smart design patient experience, just like the online stuff that goes on. Then we give treatment plans. We give them their online education. That once this is designed, it's about you, everybody delivering the care. All you had to do is step up and say, here you go, do this. And do a prescription plan that they asked for. You just had to listen really good. So levels of fitness, we teach them, and this is all done online. And ultimately, to wrap up, is we, in my opinion, again, built the most successful integrated practice of all time. And it started with great outcomes. If you don't get great outcomes, you need to continue to go level up your skills, because you're going to have a hard time already selling, but really selling and showing up with integrity if you don't fully believe in what you're offering. Second is a great team. I wish I could say I did it. And just like you're going to stay trapped doing a lot of things. So if you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, it's about a team. So I would not be where I am today without the amazing, brilliant people that I've had working behind me. I can barely turn on a computer, and certainly I'm learning and growing in that area, but I had to have the right team around me. Operational process consistency. If you can't repeat it, you can't scale it. If somebody else can't do it, then you have what I call a star player team, like I mentioned. Your patients, if you're not making them a part of the journey, if you're not learning how to ask for testimonials that feel good, if you're not getting reviews like crazy, if you're not getting referrals, again, go back to number 1 and get better outcomes, or learn how to communicate so they can be excited about your mission as well. Professional referrals. Chiropractors were our number 1 source of our regenerative referral leads. Our referrals from our existing patients became our number 1 source. So if you're not getting internal and external referrals, there's a challenge. Again, marketing and then selling. I know you don't like that word, but we got to overcome that and learn how to reframe it completely, because I'm sure you like music, art, sports, whatever it is. Why are you excited to tell about other people's business? Or you should go to this restaurant, or you should go here, when you're not willing to talk about yourself. Then you may not be providing good care if you're not excited about what you're doing. So I just want you, and again, I'm just pulling a little bit of jabs at you because I want you to rethink, trying to break the pattern of what you do believe. And then ultimately, it's commitment to excellence. I know a lot of surgeons, I know a lot of average folks, I know a lot of general folks, that the only ones that get better are the only ones that are committed to growing. So that commitment to excellence is a never-ending journey. That's why I'm so excited to be aligned with Dr. Ashton. He doesn't have to do what he's doing. He was called for more. So this is about jumping and doing something a little bit differently. So if you want to have better results, if you don't want to frustrate, if you want to stay native, you want to go forward. Most people confuse wishing and wanting with pursuing. You must place your trust in action. And that's where I want to invite you to the 5-day roadmap. Come in, even if you can't make all days, get it, review it, and watch it. I believe I can give you the formula that can change how medicine is delivered going forward. So Dr. Ashton, thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. So in closing, I just want to say there's this concept of the mastermind. I don't know whether you doctors are familiar with that or not, but it means that 2 or more people are working for a common positive cause in working together. Mastermind. I have a vision of there being a doctor's mastermind group, which is, JR's in this group. He is the group. And we need doctors that are thinking in the right direction, wanting to do better for their patients and make an impact rather than just covering up symptoms. And I think that the mastermind concept is an amazing thing for us to pursue. And if you're interested in that, we're going to be pursuing that. And I think the first step is to join JR in his 5 presentations that you're going to be much more instructive and in-depth than what we were able to cover today in a short time.
Absolutely. You need your practice roadmap. That's the plan. How are you going to practice differently? We can't go back. Some of you may have been positioned right to continue doing what you're doing. That's fine. But the majority of other practices are going to have to pivot on some level to virtually telemed or delivering better outcomes or patient workbooks or marketing and communication when everybody's digitally. So you don't have to implement everything that we said here. It may be just what is your clear plan or your practice model. And then when you get that infrastructure and you come to the summit, you continue to, again, get a little bit better in each one of those pillars. We are going to be talking marketing and sales, time production, management at your event, leadership, all those things that you will continue to work on and grow in. But we got to get the blueprint in the roadmap constructed first. You don't just go start building a house without a blueprint, a foundation, the materials, and what you need. So that's what this time right now, before we're fully open back up and going, is to do. Then from there, I'm so confident in what Dr. Ashton's creating in his vision of the education, the amazing heart-centered people that will be coming forward that will help you grow. And when we come in community together, support each other, work together, then we get things done even better. We need a support network.
So the link for this program with JR is there, right in the chat box.
Sir.
So there's the link for you to sign up for that. And be sure you do that, because you're going to learn a lot more in depth on what we're talking about here. And JR, thank you so much. Appreciate all your work. And we will see you soon. We'll go forward. And I'm looking forward also to October, because we're going to get together in West Palm Beach. We'll have our mastermind group there, and you'll hear more about that in the future. But think about October. October is going to be really, really nice down here in South Florida. The virus will be gone. Everybody will be happy. We'll be back to work, and we'll be better prepared to take care of our patients.
Thank you, Doc, for everything that you're doing. Keep doing it, getting the good message out there. So
yes, sir. Thank you. And thank you all for coming.